Namaste, a very good evening, and welcome to Chitti Media and the Festival of Bharat. Joining me today is somebody very special, somebody close home as well. Uh, she wears many hats. She is a lawyer by qualification, an actress, a television personality, a spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, and these are just a few that I have mentioned. Please join me in welcoming Malavika Avinash. Malavika Aure, thank you so much for joining me today. It's such an honor and a pleasure to have you here on our show.
Namaste, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Harihi Om. Narayana Namaskrityam, Naranchaiva Narottam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayamudirayet. It's indeed my pleasure that we are able to speak today. I do hope that this conversation is as freewheeling as you expect it to be, and we discuss subjects of national importance and of those that are close to my heart. And I will share my thoughts quite brutally and frankly, as you're aware. I don't mince words. However, no disrespect or malice to anyone.
Yes, this is one of the things that I was really looking up to, because when I spoke to you over the call and you told me that you just have one condition to sort of agree to this interview, and you said, I want to be as honest as possible. And that just struck me really hard. That really touched me, because we have very few people who are as approachable, as honest as you are. And I think that's one of the special things about you. But let's start by talking about cinema in general, right? Now, there's a lot of misperception about what the Hindu right also stands for. And let's begin by talking about cinema. Now, again, the arguments are very diluted, but what essentially cinema is considered to be a Western art form. So in that sense, do you see a difficulty in India synchronizing with this particular art form, or are we trying to simply ape the West?
Yes, this subject is perhaps not looked at from a, should I say, Hindu nationalist perspective. Why I say that is somehow we are categorized as the right wing. And not just me, I think most people from the Sangha, I would say all the important adhikaris of the RSS as well as the BJP are quite uncomfortable by being called the right. We are not right wing, we are Hindu nationalist. We believe in this civilization that has been standing on this part of the world for over 10,000 years, and that there is a civilizational culture to keep, so to speak. And cinema is not outside that, right? Our dharma encompasses every single walk of life. Therefore, cinema cannot be outside it. However, the argument will be that cinema is perhaps a 100-year-old technique or craft, and was definitely invented in the West. So the technique is certainly Western. Why they started calling what we do shooting, most people don't know. The very first camera that was invented looked like a gun, so you had to hold it like that, hence it was called shooting. So yes, the technique of cinema is Western. Celluloid till a few years ago, that is exposing film and then developing it in the dark and then finally projecting it on the screen. All of these techniques are most certainly invented in the West. But cinema is not only technique, no. You have to say something by using the vehicle of cinema. And what is that? That is storytelling. And if you ask me, perhaps we are the oldest storytellers of the world. I will begin with two of the greatest epics that we narrate to the world. One is Ramayana. So from Valmiki to Kuvempu, the gamut of interpretations of the story of one person called Rama. God for some, superhuman for some, however way you want to look at him. There is Kambar in Tamil, there is Tulsidas in Hindi. So, and it gets played as a theatrical performance, as a story that is narrated through art, right from perhaps the farthest that we can think of, but earlier it was all India. So from there all the way up to Indonesia, Thailand, what we call as Cambodia. So all across a huge, what we call Jambudvip. So whether it's Ramayana or Mahabharata, from Veda Vyasa to Kumara Vyasa, you can just go on, right? The number of interpretations that there have been, the number of stories that we have been telling.
Right.
And if you were to look at form, there is dance, there is music, there is theater, there is painting. All of this is, an average of 2000 years and beyond, right? Nothing is recent. Only cinema, the technique of cinema is 100 years old. All of these forms, architecture, we have the greatest of sculptures. So, and if you were to look at how a story is to be told, what should be the setting, what should be the theatrical setup, what should be the lighting, what is ahara abhinaya? Ahara abhinaya is what I am wearing, my costume, or what is angika abhinaya, which is my body language, or what is or what should an actor behave like, speak like, sound like. All of this, again, it's a 2nd century BC text called Bharata's Natya Shastra. So there you have it. You have Natya Shastra, then you had Abhinavagupta, and if you were to look at storytelling through theater, then you have Kalidasa, you have Bhasa, you have so many of them. So, and if you look at cinema itself, coming back to the subject of cinema, what was our first film? It was Kichaka Vadam, and Kichaka Vadam is from Mahabharata. So for the average Indian, if you have Harikatha, the Sampradaya, the tradition of Harikatha in Karnataka, you have Bhagavata Mela in Andhra, you have Kathakali, you have Yakshagana, you have Kathakar, which then became Kathak. So there you have it. There are so many forms. Yes, the technique is cinema, but the story is ours. And if you ask me, the story that sells is our own, always, always. And from celluloid, we've moved to digital. That's all has changed.
Right.
But otherwise, storytelling is, I think, our domain.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.